Hello everyone. So today I was thinking of this last night, but kind of looked more into it today, and I feel like I don't know if you're into like comic book stories or if you watch the movies like Superman, Batman, or Iron Man. If you look at the whole theme of the stories, it's always there's usually a good person, like a hero, and there's always like a bad or a villain in these stories. It's like good versus evil. So I've seen a ton of these movies, and as I thought about it, I'm like, wow, this goes way back. Even like in the Bible stories, if you look back in Exodus with Moses and how his parents put him in a basket and put him down the river. If you look at the outline story for Superman, Moses was raised from a different family and soon, became king and conquered. And then Superman was kind of, similar, where his parents kind of sent him, transported him, and then he was raised by the Kent family. So there's some kind of like different, like similar things that happen in the Bible that are like kind of portrayed in like currently in different movies you see. And if you kind of look into it, there's a few more examples there where the stories are kind of inspired by Bible stories. So anyways, there's always good versus evil. So if you look in our world today, similar, there's a lot of evil going on, but there's also a lot of good that goes on. So in these movies, I've always, no matter which one it is, it always turns out for good. Like the good person, the hero always comes through. Batman, it looks like he's not going to make it, and then something happens and he conquers, he wins, he beats, the Joker, or, whatever the story is. So it's like, there's always like a good ending, like good conquers evil. So anyways, as I was thinking of like our faith, and, we're currently in kind of a battle, a spiritual battle, whether you want to admit it or not. There's a lot of good that goes on in this world, but there's a lot of evil. And, I just want to encourage you that, and make sure you know that God, in the end, is going to conquer and beat, and everything's going to be taken care of. Like, it's going to be a good ending for those that love him and that call upon his name. And in Psalms 110:1, it says, it's like the Psalm of David. The Lord says to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. So it says this actually a few times throughout the Bible, basically saying, God's saying to Jesus, sit at my right hand, rest until I make your enemies your footstool. Like, wow. Like, and then when I looked into this, like back in the old days, when they would capture the enemies, they'd have them in chains and they'd bring them in, and the king would sit and put the enemies back underneath their foot, and they'd rest their feet on top of these enemies that were chained. So it's like, that's why it kind of is stated like that's kind of interesting to know what used to happen back then. So anyways, God has a plan, and he is way more powerful and than some of these comic book stories that you read. Like, he's going to make everything right. And we just have to believe and hope that he knows what he's doing, and that good will conquer evil in the end. And he'll be under our feet. The enemy of our soul will be under our feet, our enemies. So we have nothing to worry about. We need to rest in that, knowing that God knows what he's doing. But we also need to take heed and understand and read his word so we can be prepared to fight in the battle, because we're part of that kind of fighting that's going on, that there's tension, there's spiritual tension, and the enemy of our soul wants us to feel scared and frightened and not say anything, but we need to speak truth and life. And if we are listening and hearing God's voice, he's our shepherd, you know, he's going to come through for us. So it's going to be a good ending if we just hold on to that hope, knowing that he knows what he's doing. So in Romans, one last thing, Romans 12:21. Don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So that's hard to do when someone's being rude or says something nasty to you, or the only thing God instructs us to do is don't succumb, don't go to the level of that person being mean or rude. You know, overcome it with something good and just say something that they don't expect. You know, so sometimes when someone's rude to you and they, you know, say something like nasty, instead of saying something rude back, you know, take a step back and say something life-giving, something that the person looks at you like, what is this person talking about? They're actually being nice to me and I just was really rude to them. Whoa, you know. So overcome it with good, you know. So love never fails. It says it in the Bible. If you walk in love, it will never fail. So have a great day, and just know that there's going to be a great ending with God in the mix. So bye.